My name is Eleanor Grant, and for the past 30 years, I've dedicated my life to helping seniors, especially women, navigate the challenges of aging with confidence, financial security, and peace of mind. As the host of The Wise Widow, I've spoken to hundreds of women who, after losing their husbands, suddenly found themselves facing a storm of financial and legal decisions they never expected. Some made choices they later regretted, others were misled by well-meaning family, or even taken advantage of by people they trusted. I don't want that to happen to you. Losing a husband is one of the hardest things a woman can go through. The grief alone is overwhelming, but what makes it worse is that while you're still in shock, the world expects you to make huge financial decisions, decisions that can impact the rest of your life. And too many widows make the same costly mistakes simply because they don't know what to avoid. I've seen women sell their homes too soon, thinking it was the practical choice, only to regret it months later. I've watched others trust the wrong people with their money, sign legal papers without fully understanding them, or give away large sums to family out of guilt, only to be left struggling themselves. And the saddest part? Most of these mistakes can be avoided if you just know what to look out for. That's why today, I'm going to walk you through 5 of the most common and devastating financial mistakes widows make and how you can protect yourself from them. Stick with me until the end, because mistake number 5 is the one that causes the most heartbreak. Before we start, do me a favor, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And in the comments, I'd love to hear from you. What's the best financial advice you've ever received? Let's support each other through this journey. Now, let's talk about mistake number 1. I still remember the way James used to hum quietly while reading the newspaper at the kitchen table, his coffee steaming beside him. Every morning, without fail, he'd pour me a cup, first 2 creams, 1 sugar, before even taking a sip of his own. It was such a small gesture, but it meant everything. It was his way of saying, I love you, I see you, I'm here. Even now, I sometimes find myself reaching for 2 mugs instead of 1. Habits formed over a lifetime don't just disappear overnight. The house feels different without him, quieter, heavier, as if the very walls carry the weight of his absence. His favorite chair by the window, where he used to watch the birds, still sits exactly as he left it. I can't bring myself to move it. Losing a spouse isn't just about grief. It's about learning to navigate a world that suddenly feels foreign. James handled all our finances. He paid the bills, made investment decisions, and kept track of our accounts. I trusted him completely. But after he was gone, I found myself sitting at the dining room table, staring at a stack of documents I barely understood, feeling overwhelmed and utterly alone. I remember the phone calls that started coming almost immediately: banks, insurance companies, financial advisors, even distant relatives offering helpful advice. Some genuinely meant well. Others saw a widow and an opportunity. In those early days, grief clouded my judgment. I almost made some terrible decisions, ones I would have regretted for the rest of my life. That's why I'm here today, sharing this with you. I don't want any woman to feel as lost and vulnerable as I did. If you're facing this new chapter of life, I want you to have something I didn't: a clear guide to avoid the mistakes that so many of us make in those first painful months. So take a deep breath, pour yourself a cup of coffee, and let's talk. Let's make sure that no matter what happens next, you're protected. Because James would have wanted that. And I know, deep down, your husband would too. One of the hardest things about losing James wasn't just the grief, it was the overwhelming number of decisions I suddenly had to make on my own. For decades, we had done everything together. Even when I didn't handle the finances directly, I always had him to talk things through with. Then, in the blink of an eye, He was gone, and I was left to navigate everything alone. The first challenge was money. The bills still needed to be paid, but suddenly, our steady income had changed. I had to figure out how to access our accounts, understand our investments, and decide what to do with his pension and life insurance. It felt like I had been thrown into a financial storm without a life raft. And to make matters worse, people started coming out of the woodwork, some with good intentions, others with their own interests in mind. Financial advisors, distant relatives, even well-meaning friends started offering advice. But how was I supposed to know who to trust? Then there was the house. Everyone had an opinion. It's too big for you now. You don't need all that space. You should sell and move somewhere smaller. But that house wasn't just walls and a roof. It was our home. It was where we built a life together. I wasn't ready to leave, but at the same time, I felt lost in the empty rooms, unsure if staying was the right choice. Family dynamics changed too. Some people became closer, offering support in ways I never expected. Others seemed to pull away, unsure of how to talk to me now that I was alone. And then there were those who saw my loss as an opportunity. Requests for financial help started trickling in small at first, then bigger. Mom, could you co-sign this loan? Grandma, I just need a little help getting back on my feet. It broke my heart to say no, but I knew I had to protect myself. And of course, there was the loneliness. Even in a room full of people, I sometimes felt invisible. James had been my partner, my sounding board, my best friend. Without him, I struggled with the simplest decisions. What car insurance should I choose? Was I making the right choices for my future? Every decision felt heavier, more uncertain. I know I'm not alone in this. Too many widows face the same struggles: financial uncertainty, pressure from family, the weight of loneliness, and the fear of making the wrong choices. That's why I want to share what I've learned, so you don't have to go through this blind. Because while we may be navigating this new chapter alone, we don't have to do it without guidance. I wish I could say that every widow gets the support and respect she deserves, but the truth is far from it. I've seen too many women, strong, loving, trusting women, lose everything because they made one wrong decision in their grief. Some were misled by so-called financial advisors who promised to help but drained their savings instead. Others were pressured by family members into handing over large sums of money, believing they were doing the right thing. One woman I knew, Margaret, lost nearly her entire inheritance because she trusted the wrong person. A distant cousin, someone she barely knew, convinced her to invest in a once-in-a-lifetime business deal. She wanted to believe him after all. He was family. But within a year, the business collapsed, and Margaret's money was gone. No one came to help her then. The same people who had smiled and reassured her disappeared the moment she had nothing left to give. Another friend, Linda, co-signed a loan for her son. He swore he'd make every payment, that it was just a temporary favor. But when he ran into financial trouble, the bank didn't come after him, they came after her. They drained her retirement savings and nearly took her house. Imagine that. A woman in her 70s, who had spent decades building a secure future with her husband, suddenly left with nothing because she wanted to help her own child. It makes me furious. How can people take advantage of their own mothers, their own grandmothers? And how can we, as widows, protect ourselves from these traps? Here's what I wish every widow knew. 1. Never rush big financial decisions. The first year after losing your husband is full of emotions, and emotions cloud judgment. If someone is pressuring you to sign something, say no. Take your time. Consult multiple experts. 2. Be extremely cautious with financial advisors. If someone reaches out to you first, be suspicious. Always research them, check their credentials, and never hand over control of your accounts. If you need help, find a reputable professional on your own terms, preferably one recommended by a trusted friend or organization. 3. Think twice before co-signing anything. It doesn't matter how much you love your children or grandchildren. If their name is on the loan but they can't pay, the bank will come after you. Instead, offer emotional support and guidance on managing their own finances. 4. Keep your money protected. A sudden lump sum, whether from life insurance, a pension payout, or savings, can attract all the wrong people. Instead of taking it all at once, consider structured payouts, annuities, or putting it into an account that requires multiple approvals before large withdrawals. 5. Update your legal documents immediately. Outdated wills and beneficiary forms have led to widows losing everything to estranged relatives or even ex-spouses. Make sure every document reflects your current wishes. I know this isn't easy. It's heartbreaking to think that we have to guard ourselves so fiercely, even from those we once trusted. But protecting ourselves isn't selfish, it's survival. And if we don't take control of our future, someone else will. You are not alone in this, my dear. You have the power to safeguard your future, and I am here to help. Let's make sure that no more widows fall victim to these traps. I know this has been a heavy conversation, talking about loss, about betrayal, about the risks that come with widowhood. It's not easy. But here's what I want you to hold on to. You are not powerless. You are not just a widow. You are a woman who has built a life, who has loved deeply, who still has so much ahead of her. Yes, the road is different now. Yes, the weight of making decisions alone can feel unbearable. But with the right knowledge, the right support, and a plan in place, your future can still be stable, secure, and even fulfilling. I've seen so many women just like you turn things around. Margaret, the woman who lost her savings in that bad investment, she rebuilt. She learned about money management, found a financial advisor she could trust, and slowly but surely got back on her feet. And Linda, who nearly lost her house, she set firm boundaries with her family, found legal help, and secured her financial future. These women were scared, just like you might be right now. But they took control, step by step. And you can, too. Here's where we start together. 1. Get informed. Knowledge is your best defense. Read about financial safety, talk to experts, and never sign anything you don't fully understand. 2. Find a support system. You don't have to go through this alone. Whether it's friends, a local widow support group, or an online community, surround yourself with people who truly have your best interests at heart. 3. Take action, one step at a time. Update your legal documents. Set up safeguards for your finances. Learn to say no when something doesn't feel right. Each small step makes you stronger. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Have you or someone you know faced challenges like these after losing a spouse? What advice would you give to other widows just starting this journey? Leave a comment below your story. Might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. And if this message spoke to you, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. The more we connect, the stronger we become.